All right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Ephraim. Today's date is November 29th, 2022. You listen to the sound of my voice, that means you were blessed to see another day. And for that, all praise, honor, and glory is due to the Most High God of Israel for now and forever. All right, welcome. We got a lot of new subscribers, so let me welcome all my new subscribers. And if you're just getting to the channel, or if you've been here for a little bit, make sure you hit that subscribe button, uh, hit the notification bell rather, and select all so you'll be notified every time I upload a new presentation. And I want to continue to thank you all for commenting on the videos and liking them. Definitely keep liking because all that helps in the viewership. All right. So we got a lot of brothers and sisters waking up to this truth. Thanks really in part to Kyrie Irving. By God's grace and mercy, bringing attention, to our people and who we really are as Hebrew Israelites. Of course, many of you know I don't really do the Hebrew thing so much anymore. I mean, it's all good, but I'm just an Israelite. All seeds of Jacob are Israelites. Straight up and down. We don't need nothing before or after that title. If you think about it, right? Yes, we're Hebrews technically, but there are a lot of other Hebrews too. What makes us different than all the other races, or all the other so-called Hebrews or whatever, is the fact that we're Israelites. We're from the chosen seed. That's what separates us. So I'm cool. I mean, I can go either way. I ain't tripping. Hebrew Israelite. That's fine. But anyway, I wanted to kind of talk about this because there's still a lot, brothers and sisters out there who just really still confused. They don't understand there's still some detractors about our DNA, this and that, and a lot of ignorant brothers still, commenting on talking about our DNAs of the white man. It's a bunch of foolishness, and my thing is, I've always said that, when the Most High blew his breath into Adam and made Adam a living and breathing soul, he took ownership of everything about that man. So everything about us, our DNA, our genetic makeup, everything, it belongs to the Most High. Don't ever in your life try to attribute one of his most precious gifts to any so-called man, because if you look at the human body and the way we're made up, there's no way a man or human that looks like me and you had anything to do with our genetic or our physiological makeup as human beings. No way you're going to get me to believe that. So stop attributing the E1B1A DNA to man. Yes, man is from the standpoint that, when a man laid seed, he gives his child, the male child, the Y-DNA haplotype as far as that, but that's where that goes. That's where it ends. So, I just kind of wanted to readdress this thing about, this whole science thing. I mean, science is cool, but I mean, the Bible already told us everything. Science ain't telling us nothing new and exciting. I mean, the Bible lays out every single thing there is to know or need to know about the universe and what came first, the order of things, all these different things. So, and like I said, I have a respect for science, but man, yeah, come on, knock it off. God is the author, all right, and the technician of our E1B1A DNA. God made us the only nation on this earth that possessed the E1B1A Y-DNA haplotype, right? So, anyway, let's get into that and let's dispel some of these myths and rumors and just people speaking out of ignorance, and I mean, it's okay. I've been ignorant on stuff too, but the thing about ignorance is it can be cured by just opening your ears, learning, reading, listening, right? But in today's society or whatever, ignorance is a choice because we have access to too much information now. So anyway, that's going to be the topic for today, man. Hopefully, I inspire a lot of you new brothers and sisters just coming into this truth. Don't let anyone fool you. The Most High raised me up back in January of 2015 to reveal that the E1B1A is the haplotype of the children of Israel, and we've been on that ever since. And that does not belong to no man. Okay, no man can make or break or change our DNA. No man can do that. So don't even fall for the banana in the tailpipe. All right. On that note, hope y'all enjoyed the lesson, man. Like I said, make sure y'all like, subscribe, and keep supporting the channel. Man, I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. Shalom, elect.
And I wanted to give a quick shout out to a lot of those brothers and sisters out there, man, who've been reaching out to me, from different camps and whatnot. I see you. I see each and every one of you, and I appreciate you. I just want to say this. We all go through, different levels in life, where we have to continuously, evolve to get to where the Most High wants us to be. But at the end of the day, we're all responsible for our own salvation. So, you're not obligated to any camp or any group, especially if you're not being fed. I don't care what the person's title is or what they claim, whatever the case may be. You're going to know the spirit and the voice of the Most High or His Son, the Christ, the Messiah. So, I'm just going to encourage you to just, go where you feel led, go with what you feel led, and your spirit is right, and don't feel obligated to anything or anyone, because at the end of the day, on a day of judgment, you will have to account for yourselves, and no man is going to be able to save you. All right. So I appreciate you all. Thank you all for the continued support. I'm looking real forward to this particular presentation. It's called, God is the architect and the owner of DNA, not science. I feel maybe it's a little, overdue. All right. But here it is. Now we're going to get into it. Now, when the Most High raised me up to bring forth this DNA teaching that proves conclusively our beliefs in who the Bible says we are, I was the first to approach genetic evidence, which cannot be disputed or refuted by any man, as the backdrop for us being Hebrew Israelites. Now, this should have been our crowning and shining moment as a people, for the Most High to raise one of us up. And on a side note, my mother and father are both Hebrew Israelites and seeds of Jacob. So I'm a quote-unquote full-blood Hebrew. Presenting DNA evidence to the world of who we really are, not who they've said we are, or who we've accepted to be. After having been phased out of and denied this DNA knowledge and fed nothing but lies about what it says about us, uncovering the DNA of the children of Israel to be E1B1A and all of its subgroups, genetically proved we are not from the bloodline of Ham, and we are not, quote-unquote, West Africans. And almost as if on cue, I mean, wait for it, here come a bunch of unlearned Negroes and self-called Hebrews out the woodworks, trying to deny and denounce this DNA teaching as something other than Yah, further filling our people's head, heart, and spirit with fear, doubt, and confusion. But here's the thing, though. They don't know what the hell they're talking about, and they're flat out wrong. See, science in the Bible has never been separate, meaning so-called science can't tell us anything that the Most High Himself hasn't already provided. Science is just a crutch and another way for people who do not believe in God to look to, give reasons for unexplained things, and hold on to because they refuse to believe in an omnipotent power unseen and the creator of all things in the heavens and everything and everyone beneath it. In His word, He declares that all things is His. Has so-called science taught man how the pyramids were made? Nah, hasn't. But the Testament of Solomon gives great insight in how the pyramids were built by who helped him build his first great temple. See, when the Most High blew His breath into man and made man a living, breathing soul, He immediately took possession and ownership of everything that comes with man. And yes, that includes the blood that flows through our veins and the DNA that He coded us with. You can't, on one hand, claim to be a believer in God, believe He created man, then turn around and try to give the DNA that helps make up man to science. That statement and belief shows that either A, you're a hypocrite, B, you're simply unlearned to the secrets and true power of the Most High, or C, you just may simply be an unlearned hypocrite. Any man or woman who speaks on the things of God they have no knowledge of is a fool. And anyone who tries to put their mouth on the ones he sent are and will be destroyed for lack of knowledge. And because our people have scripturally and historically rejected knowledge, Romans 9:27 declares that although in numbers we may be as the sand of the sea, only a remnant of us will be saved. See, our people, unfortunately, are the results of their own doing. And that's why we're still going through what we are today with the curses. It's funny, it's like we represent the best and the worst, both at the same time. You can't tell us anything. We're stiff-necked. We don't believe. We want to murmur. We want to complain. We want to talk junk. That's us. That's our people. But I can't even say that I'm surprised. But admittedly, it has been extremely disappointing. Because if you think about it, every single one of God's prophets that was sent to us, for the most part, our people rejected them all. This is nothing new. Who am I? I'm no different. From Moses, John the Baptist, on up to Christ the Messiah himself, who actually was sent here specifically for us, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The majority of us rejected him and still do. It's sad, man. It's truly sad. The spirit of those Israelites that Moses had the Levites kill, they exist right now today. You lost Hebrew brothers and sisters who are our biggest detractors, try to attack, and really in more ways than some, you're worse than the Edomites and other nations that have shown themselves and proven themselves to be enemies of our people that have taken crafty counsel against us. See, in Exodus 32:26-28, and it reads, "Then Moses stood in the gate of the camp and said, 'Who is on the Lord's side? Let him come unto me.' And all the sons of Levi gathered themselves together unto him. And he said unto them, Thus said the Lord God of Israel, Put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor." And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses. And there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. In the book of Exodus, Moses ordered the Levites to slay everyone who chose not to be on the Most High's side, and essentially chose the pagan calf god as their so-called god. Scripture just told us that 3,000 men who rejected the Most High and elected the calf instead were slain that day. Now, why is this significant, Dr. Ephraim? It's significant because the seed and descendants of those 3,000 men that were slain are still walking around in the earth today. You will know those descendants by the people, the sons and the daughters today using colorful, self-exalting, and deity-based names to describe themselves like God and Goddess and Kemet King, Egyptologist, God Killer, Cyrus Rider. The list goes on and on. The one recurring theme of these names and titles is that they give themselves line up perfectly with the spirit they inherited from the 3,000 who rejected the Most High and aligned themselves with false deities, and passed that down to their generation and seeds walking around the earth today. Selah. In spite of the Most High commanding us not to take on their beliefs, customs, acts, or ordinances, Leviticus 18:3 says, "After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall you not do. Neither shall you walk and their ordinances. Now, for some of you who may or may not know, at the time, the land was called Canaan, and Hamitic Africans actually possessed the land before Yehoshua led our people to the battle and dispossessed them from that land. Of course, now the land is called Israel, but to this day, a lot of Hamitic Africans still lay claim to Israel, and they actually still hold a grudge because they were ran up out of there. Now, I would argue that some of the venom and hate that these men and women have for the Most High God of Israel today is 100 times worse than it was back then. See, this is how and why, once I recognize that disgusting, reprehensible spirit that come from the depths of hell where those 3,000 men lay, I don't waste no time or energy. None. See, these Hebrew camps can't even agree on what the Most High's and his son's actual name is. So how can I expect you to understand and embrace the fact that the Most High made us a special people, and why he coded us with a DNA that no other race or nation of people possesses on this entire planet? Why do you all think he did that? Certainly not for himself. I mean, he knows who and where each and every one of us are. He knows every hair we have on our heads. I mean, come on. He blessed us with this knowledge, but that knowledge was kept hidden for so long from black people, so that we will know for sure who are seeds of Jacob and not have to rely solely on just a belief or interpretation of scriptures by the curses, because man is involved with the aforementioned. And when man is involved, human error can occur. People can be wrong in their interpretation, right? It's human error. That's what it calls. I'm human, right? That's what we say when we make a mistake. I'm human. There you go. But see, what our DNA does is it takes out all the guesswork. It tells us without a shadow of a doubt who the children of Israel are walking around the earth today and who they are not. And let me address and kill this other ignorance I've come across and I've heard. Listen, I have countless hours of videos and presentations I brought forth both here on YouTube and on Facebook. I mean, my teachings can literally be found all over the internet, all over the world. And let me tell you something. I never made one single red cent from any one of my teachings, my videos, or my labor in this truth. Nor am I connected with a single soul, no organization, no government agency, nor do I possess a 501c3. I'm free, and I work for Yah, a direct representative of him who was sent to tell you all what thus said the Lord of hosts. So put some respect on my name when you're talking about a real one, and stop trying to stir up controversy through confusion, nonsense, and speaking on things you absolutely know nothing about. I will not be moved. I'm good. After everything I've shared with you all and given my personal testimony, if you don't or haven't discerned who I am at this point, you never will and wasn't meant to. I'm okay with that. I'm more than okay with that. I'm personally not even in the slightest concern. What I am concerned about and focused on is the ones who hear my voice, recognize the spirit and truth, and take to these words immediately, as I did, and like a fish does water. I have no problems leading my brothers and sisters to the well, but it's totally up to each and every one of you to drink. I'm not going to force you, and I can't drink for you. I'm not frantically jumping up and down, begging anyone to please believe me. You are all responsible for your own salvation, and I can't save you. I'm just a vessel of the Most High, trying to awaken as many of you as I can. If this DNA teaching doesn't do it for you, it's not going to get done. But see, the flip side is you can't reject me without rejecting he who sent me. I didn't call myself with this, nor do I have any vain aspiration for some type of fame or glory off of it. All glory, praise, and honor is given to the mighty Yahweh, the Most High God of Israel. No, you don't have to be a genetic Israelite or seed of Jacob to sojourn with Israel and be seen and accepted as one of us by the Most High. But I have to do some research on sojourners, or those who have not established their genealogy per 1 Chronicles 9:1 as seeds of Israel, actually teaching seeds, or those who actually possess the DNA of Jacob, the patriarch of Israel. I personally don't know of any non-Hebrew Israelite that the Most High called to lead or teach the children of Israel. Selah. Those unlearned ones making false claims about DNA and our genealogy not being of the Most High clearly have been tainted by the erroneous New Testament scripture meant for Christian Gentiles, not Hebrew Israelites. Of 1 Timothy 1-4, that in essence says, quote, neither give heed to endless genealogies. And Titus 3:9 goes as far as to call the genealogy of the children of Israel worthless. Wow. You all let that process for a quick minute. First and foremost, listen, Timothy and Titus were both Greeks, Edomites, who had no blood ties to Israel, and obviously was not part of our genealogy. Sounds more like a little hate and a little jealousy to me. But either way, I'll take what the Most High says over either of them any day. Okay? And any so-called Hebrew who quotes Timothy or Titus with respect to the genealogy and bloodline of the children of Israel clearly speaks out of ignorance and have gotten caught in the hype. The genealogy of Israel is and has always been of the utmost importance to the Most High, and why the word genealogy or genealogies appear at least 23 times in Torah. Are you kidding me? As a matter of fact, and I mentioned it above, it states emphatically in 1 Chronicles 9:1 that all of Israel, or anyone who claims to be an Israelite, must have their genealogy reckoned or bloodline established as such. Bottom line, in this day and age, DNA is the absolute only way to establish yourself as a seed from the bloodline of Jacob. You can't establish your bloodline using a belief or the curses in scripture. You establish your bloodline by what Y-DNA haplotype you possess that you inherited from your father and he got from his father, and so on. That Timothy scripture and verse is in direct contradiction to our laws and what the Most High requires for the children of Israel, reckoning our genealogies, and means absolutely nothing to Hebrew Israelites. See, this is exactly why a lot of Israelites outright reject the New Testament. because a lot of it contradicts Torah. And the reason it does is because it wasn't written for Israelites. Selah. Listen, Timothy and Titus, two Greeks and Edomites, can't tell me, a genetic Hebrew Israelite from the seed of Jacob, or you, that's the same, a damn thing about our bloodline and how non-significant our genealogy is, when the book of genealogy was of the utmost importance to the Most High, so much that he required all Israelites to have their genealogy reckoned and have their name in that book. Are you kidding me? Why would he go through giving us a unique and distinct DNA from every nation on earth if our genealogy was worthless? Come on, people. Seriously. You got to think, man. You Hebrew brothers and sisters need to stop quoting these Edomites, letting them tell you what you as an Israelite need to be doing. If you think about it, that right there is crazy. All of that was meant and designed to try and neutralize the real children of Israel, minimize and belittle some of our laws, statutes, and commandments so that Gentile Christians could feel comfortable and quote unquote saved without giving up many of their heathenistic ways and unclean practices, like that whole you can eat anything as long as you bless it in Jesus' name stuff. Negative. Perfect example though. You understand? Now, we are all, as Israelites and sojourners, required to abide by the laws, statutes, and commandments given to us by the Most High. Period, point blank. Now, I'm not trying to discredit these two, but I'm just putting what they said regarding us and the importance of our genealogy to the Most High in proper perspective. And just to clear up real quick, worthless was used in that Titus 3:9 scripture and verse in the ESV version of the Bible. And I only used the KJV, but I didn't catch it until late. And that's it. That's the basic premise of this presentation. You know, God is the architect and the owner of DNA, not science. So, you know, we could just kind of just do away with that, man. I mean, it's funny how, you know, people regurgitate stuff so much that they start to believe it. Like, you know, it's like, you know, almost like the lie becomes the truth and truth becomes a lie, man. I mean, if you say something often enough, you start to believe it. Okay? For DNA to create a blueprint of you, DNA had to exist before you did. Therefore, there was a creator, the Most High God, who developed and created the code needed to make every human special, unlike any other humans. Fingerprints. No human from the very beginning of time ever has had nor never will have an identical fingerprint that matches any other human since the beginning of time. Now ask yourself, people, how can you attribute something that great to man or science? Let's not get it twisted. Man is behind this whole science thing. Again, science is simply a crutch for people who do not believe in God. All right, that's all it is. How can you attribute something like that to man? That's hypocritical. You can't say that God created man or call yourself a creationist, right? And I hate these titles, but I mean, you know, this is what we do, right? You know, you can't call yourself a creationist yet attribute God's own creation or something in his creation to man. I mean, that's silly. I mean, that's just really, it's past silly if you really think about it. So yeah, I'm bringing this forth because I mean, it's just really, it's like, it's enough of the foolishness. I mean, some of you Hebrew brothers and sisters, y'all have no room to talk about the brothers who still lost and the sisters who still lost with Christianity, because y'all reject knowledge too. Y'all rejected knowledge, so y'all ain't no different or no better than them. They rejected knowledge just like y'all rejected knowledge. This DNA knowledge didn't come from me. I'm not the architect of this. This DNA knowledge didn't come from no man. The Most High owns our DNA. He's the creator of us and everything about us, everything inside us, everything in our blood. Okay? Y'all really need to knock it off. Y'all a bunch of hypocrites, man. Y'all can't talk about the lost brothers and sisters who still, embracing Christianity. Y'all rejected knowledge too. Okay? I'm not jumping up and down waving my arms like, hey, please believe me. You get it or you don't. You're responsible for your own salvation. Right? But God owns our DNA, not science. Stop regurgitating lies and manifesting ignorance and speaking on something you know nothing about. Okay? And that's how we're going to do this. So let's define what science is in the next segment, and then y'all know how I do, and I'm going to break it down. We're going to really deal with this comprehensively. So at the end, I will leave no doubt, but I need y'all to understand that, why some of y'all are trying to tear down, what one of you are bringing forth, and someone that actually belongs to the Most High. You got these Ashkenazi and these Khazar Jews having the world believing that the only Jewish haplogroups are E1B1B and haplogroup J. While y'all sitting there trying to tear me down. And the reason why they have the world believing that is because, like I said in the beginning of the presentation, they've counted on our ignorance, on us being asleep, on us being mentally dead. They kept that DNA power away from it. They told us what they wanted us to know. And even to this day, DNA still, a lot of us still don't really understand and get it. But that's what they counted on, my people. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. While y'all sitting trying to tear me down, I'm one of y'all. The Most High raised me up to bring forth the E1B1A and denounce all these lies with this E1B1B haplogroup J stuff. That's why they so mad. That's why they running around the internet trying to kick up dust, because, wow, wait a minute. Someone actually came forth with the truth. E1B1B is not Jewish. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say this real quick, and then I'm going to get to the next segment of the whole science thing and all that. But I'm working on my next video, and it's going to be comprehensive, just like that E1B1A video was. It's going to be comprehensive, and I'm going to finally and unequivocally denounce this big lie that these fake Jews have the world believing that haplogroups E1B1B and haplogroup J are Israelites. I'm going to, oh my God, I'm going to denounce that. Be on the lookout for that next video. I'm serious. It's going to be like that E1B1A video, and I'm going to put it to rest. I'm going to leave no doubt who the children of Israel are and who they are not. And the thing about it is that stuff is already out there. Their DNA has already outed them as not being from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So it's not like, I'm really saying anything new or groundbreaking, but what I am saying is what hasn't been said is that Negroes, or we, possess the DNA of the children of Israel. That has never been said before. That's the only difference now. That really changes the game. Like I said, while some of y'all sitting and trying to tear me down, I'm the real one. I'm the one trying to fight for y'all. I'm the one trying to say, no, they got it all wrong. These are lies. The Most High raised me up and equipped me with the knowledge to bring forth that E1B1A is the only true Hebrew Israelite haplogroup. While y'all sitting there trying to tear me down, like I said. But anyway, we're going to keep this moving forward. Let's define science in this next segment, and we're going to keep it moving. All right. And like I said, we're going to go ahead and lay the foundation by defining science. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but, I'm going to pretty much read it. And then, of course, like I said, you guys can always pause it and, read the whole thing and things like that. So All right, so science is a systematic enterprise that builds and organizes knowledge in the form of testable explanations and predictions about the universe. Now, two things are operative in that line I just read: testable and universe. Go back to a few of my videos. I've always said that DNA is a tangible metric, meaning you can measure it, you can test it, right? And the Most High, the creator of the universe, is the architect of that. And the reason why it's testable, he coded us with this DNA. Okay, no man has that kind of knowledge. Okay, now, matter of fact, I'm going to just say this real quick. I'm just going on a quick tangent. The Most High is so powerful. He, first of all, if a man has a son, that man passes on what's called a Y-DNA haplotype to that male child, right? If there are two sons or three sons or however many sons there are and they have the same father, normally all those sons will have the DNA or the Y-DNA of their father. But the Most High is so omnipotent. He literally took the bloodlines of Jacob and Esau in Rebekah's womb and separated them. Jacob was E1B1A, and the seeds of Esau defaulted to E1B1B. And I'm going to deal with that, like I said, on my next video. I mean, extensively. But that's how powerful the Most High is. Science is nothing. The Most High is everything. Science could never achieve that. Only the Most High could. That's why and how. That's why I said our DNA was so important and our genealogy is so important to the Most High, because for continuity's sake, he wanted no other race of or nation of people to possess our DNA. That's why he separated the bloodlines of Esau and Jacob in Rebekah's womb. Because think about it. If the seeds of Esau had our DNA, how would we know who they are? Right. We wouldn't. That's why he did that. He blessed us with that because clearly he knows. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to deal with that extensively. I just had to say that real quick, but I'm going to deal with that extensively in the next video. But you know, I had to go on a quick tangent. Sorry about that, but it was worth it. All right, back on the science thing. Contemporary science is typically subdivided into the natural sciences, which study the material universe, the social sciences, which study people and societies, and the formal sciences such as mathematics. The formal sciences are often excluded as they do not depend on empirical observations. Disciplines which use science, engineering, and medicine may also be considered to be applied sciences. So the basic, the recurring theme of science is just the study of things that goes on in the universe. They say things like mathematics and the study of people and societies. They haven't broken down, but basically it's a way to explain things that's unexplainable to the average person. So like I said, they hide behind this whole science thing. And don't get me wrong, I've used science sparingly in the past, but not in the sense that my life isn't based on science. Okay, I do have a respect for it, but at the end of the day, my foundation is the Most High. Okay, at the end of the day, and 9 times out of 10, anything that science said, I can go right to the scriptures and go right to where the Most High already said that 9 times out of 10. So I don't, I have a respect for it, but unlike a lot of people, I don't put no whole emphasis on science, because to be honest with you, the Most High, he's not going to let us just totally get everything. We're not going to get it. We're not. He'll let us get to a certain extent, but we're not going to. He's not going to ever just give us a full, ABC blueprint of how old the Earth is and when did Adam live or when was the first man, all this kind of stuff. Look, man, that's going to always be conjecture and guess. All right, because the Most High said he will take the foolish things to confound the wise, and he stays confounding people every day. All these scientists and these archaeologists and these anthropologists, man, the Most High stays confounding y'all, man, because y'all don't get it. Y'all not with him, and he's not with you. So you're going to continue to be confounded. You're going to continue to find things that defies logic, that defies what you call your science or your mind or whatever. That's going to always, it's going to keep happening, man. Y'all don't get it. All right, because the Most High is the quarterback for all of this. We're not going to get every single thing. Okay, let's just leave that alone, man. Like, seriously. All right, so I got the basic foundation of, defining what science is and breaking it down to its smallest little molecule and all that. So we're gonna go on to the next segment, and keep this thing moving. I'm gonna try not to, keep it drawn out or draw it out or whatever, but I think I pretty much laid a real nice foundation for the Most High being the architect and the owner of our DNA. And truthfully, it's just a unique way he coded us so we can know which nation is which nation and who is who. DNA is an extremely powerful tool. And I mean, we have to stop sleepwalking, my people, and get this. I mean, we've been asleep long enough. I mean, think about it, man. That's the best thing. Well, it was always said that, the best way to keep something from a black man is, put it in a book or whatever. And that may or may not be true, but I'll say this, the best way to keep any people or nation down is to keep them ignorant. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe that kind of goes hand in hand with, putting it in a book and, the perception a lot of, black men don't read or whatever. But I think, the bottom line or the operative is just basically being ignorant to something. And, if you don't read, if you don't, look at certain things, you're not going to have the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? This DNA thing is powerful, man. Like I said, this has been around for a long time. But a lot of black people just have not been aware of its power and exactly what it is. People, when they hear DNA, they think, oh, that's what they use to get people out of crimes. Yeah, well, it's a lot. It's used for a lot more than that. Like I said in my previous segment, these Khazar and these Ashkenazi Jews got the world thinking that the Y-DNA haplotype of the children of Israel is E1B1B in haplogroup J, while y'all sitting there still sleepwalking. You understand? DNA is much more powerful than that. Trust me on that. Okay, we gotta wake up, people. We gotta wake up and get this thing, man. I mean, I'm doing my best to equip all of you with the knowledge that I have, and you guys have to do your part. All right, it says right here, it says DNA fingerprinting. That's what it's called. DNA fingerprinting has exonerated people who were falsely convicted, and we know that because you can't even go to your Facebook, news feed without seeing where some, DNA already, exonerated someone from a crime, or somebody that was in a crime for 20, 30 years, and they DNA, got them out and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's just how powerful and unique our DNA is, and the Most High, again, He's responsible for that. Think about it, man. No two people has the same exact fingerprints, man. And all these people in the world, that is, wow. And y'all gonna try to attribute something like that to science? Man, knock it off, man. Knock it off. And look, right here it says, what is the most common error leading to wrongful conviction? Mistaken eyewitness identification. And that's the number one error leading to wrongful conviction. But what gets them out? Their DNA, because it makes them unique, meaning no one else has it, man. And when you put that with the fact that, listen to me, Israel, I can think of maybe 5 to 7 nations just off top of people that possesses the E1B1B Y-DNA haplotype, right? But only one nation of people, one race of people possesses the E1B1A Y-DNA haplotype. And that would be us, the Negroes, the true Jews, the real Hebrew Israelites in the seed of Jacob, walking around the earth today having no idea who the hell we really are. And we just lost in the sauce, man. Think about that. We are the only race of people with the E1B1A Y-DNA haplotype. Why is that? Think about it. Why is that? I submit to you, go back to Deuteronomy 7:6. Because we're his chosen elect, a special people unto the Most High God. But we fell from grace. We didn't want to hearken to his laws, statutes, and commandments. and we were cursed to go back into slavery by way of ships. Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Where we're going to get to this land and have yokes of iron on our neck. And we will be held in this country for 400 years, this captive country for 400 years. Right? Well, the first slave ship officially touched down in Virginia in 1619. So that 400-year prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet. I've heard people try to say that, we did that when we came up out of Egypt. No, we were in Egypt for 430 years. And let me tell you something. When the Most High says 400 years, he doesn't mean 401. He doesn't mean 402. He doesn't mean 399. He says 400 years. We were in Egypt in bondage for 430 years. So stop spreading the lie and telling the non-truth that prophecy, 400-year prophecy has always been fulfilled. Knock it off. It has not. We got 3 more years before we would officially have been in this country, in this captive country, 400 years. Matter of fact, August of 2019. All right, just to put that out there. But anyway, not to go off on too much on a tangent. I'm gonna go ahead and end up this segment. You guys see the power of DNA. We got to wake up, people. We got to wake up. I think I've pretty much covered everything I need to cover. I'll do a brief summation, and then I got to get back on that doozy of the E1B1B and haplogroup J being false and fake Hebrew Israelite haplotypes. As I try to fight these lies and fight these big deceptions that they have the world believing, and hopefully I'll get as many as you on board to help me fight them as best you can as well. So anyway, I'm going to end this up right here and get ready to close this presentation out. But real quick, I'm just going to address this because I know that I've gotten this question before, and I know that you guys are going to have this question once you see this presentation, as far as what I think is going to happen or what's going to happen in August of 2019. Well, honestly, I don't think anyone can answer that. But what I will say is this: you brothers and sisters need to be aware of what's going on. I'm definitely aware of the flee doctrine, or to come out of her, my people, doctrine. You just have to be aware. I think there's going to be some type of shift when that time comes. End of the world, though, no, because the Most High already promised and told Noah that he was not going to destroy the world again, right? So no end of the world stuff, but I definitely believe there's going to be something major. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be like it could be a financial situation. I mean, I don't know. We could be attacked by China. They've been kind of rearing their ugly head here and there. I mean, you just got to just be aware, people, and just of what's going on. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Am I afraid? No, I'm not in the least bit. But I've been definitely giving some things, some thoughts. As we run up, on that time, or whatever the case may be. We got a lot going on, in this country now. You got a lot to look at. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of nothing, because he said in his word that we're going to be okay. But we, that's after everything is said and done. Though we're going to have to go through something first, though. So. But to answer the question, I don't believe it's the end of the world. But I definitely believe something major is going to happen. It could be a major shift in the way things are. I mean, it could be we could be attacked. It could be a financial collapse. Especially if China keeps what do they call that, messing with the currency, or whatever the case may be. I can't think of the term right now, but I mean, just looking at certain things, people, it's hard to really say, but I just be aware and be ready, be prepared. 2019, it's 400 years, one way or another. We'll definitely see what's up. And that's called manipulating the currency, is what China was known for doing with the, with that. I couldn't think of the term, but yeah, it's called manipulating the currency. So, we have to look at that. But either way, people, just be ready and be aware. Well, I know I am. All right. So we've reached the end of this presentation, on the eve of this Shabbat, by grace and mercy of the Most High. And before I give a brief summation, I just want to say, I have been getting a lot of support. Yeah, there's been some detractors here and there, but honestly, I've gotten way more support than I have, so-called detractors. So, I need to say that. I don't want to give the wrong impression that, everyone's just I got everyone trying to, come against me here and there and left and right. It's not like that, So I wanted to kind of clear that up. It's not like that at all. But at the same time, I've seen and some things have come to my attention that there some brothers out there that's taken from my presentations, from my original thoughts, my lessons, my teachings, and they're not giving me proper credit. They're not citing me, or they're just stealing my ideas and then putting it on their channel and talking about it, or whatever the case may be. Man, you guys knock it off, man. If you're really trying to dialogue with me and you correct, maybe we can dialogue, but stop stealing my stuff, man. That's not honorable. I'm not even going to get into scripture, what scripture says about, brothers who do that, but it's not honorable. I'm saying? No plagiarism over here. I don't care. You can post and talk about my lessons and my teachings verbatim, but just let the people know where it came from. And don't try to pass it off as yours, because that's some BS right there. Because I would never do that to a brother or sister. Just give, cite the source. If you got it from me, tell them you got it from me. So that way, if you don't really got it all together, they can come to the source and get the real. All right, I don't have no problem with putting these teachings out there to whoever. The more the better. But just stop. Don't steal my stuff. Don't do that. So give a brother his due credit. And cite me as the source and the reference and where you're getting this stuff from. All right, so that's that. But anyway, just a brief summary. I think sometimes, a lot of times, we tend to, we say a lot of things, and like I said, we say it over and over, and after you said something a lot, you start to kind of believe it. The world has us brainwashed to believe a lot of things, and one of the things that has us believing is that, somehow science is separate from the Most High God, and I think I've proven and shown that that's just not true at all. Science is nowhere near, or has nowhere near the power of the Most High God. Science is just another way for people who don't believe in God to try to explain things, to put it in real simple terms. But the Most High God is the creator of man, and as he is the creator of man, he is sole and exclusive owner and possesses everything about us. That includes our living, our breathing, our blood, our DNA that he coded us with. No other man could do what he did with us as far as the DNA coding of us as a people, all these different races. And no man could think that I don't care. I don't care how many degrees and this and that. Ain't no one will ever get me to believe that a man has that kind of vast wisdom and knowledge to do something like that. You understand? So that's that on that. We say it because, and sometimes, we may believe in our heart that that's what it is. But, when you really look at it and you look at the scriptures and you look at everything that I brought forth, like, wait a minute, the brother does have a point, because, you can't be hypocritical and claim that, God is the creator of man in one breath and then try to say that our DNA belongs to science. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's just some mess right there. So I'm just going to leave it right there. Like I said, I'm not going to, really say too much more. Just like I said, be on the lookout for that next video, because I'm going to address head on about that whole haplogroup E1B1B and haplogroup J being the so-called Hebrew Israelite haplogroup. I mean, they literally have the world and the government. Everyone really thinks that, people. Seriously. And my thing is, no, it's not. It's a big lie. It's just that no one has called them on it before the Most High raised me up to do so. So, by his grace and mercy, I'm going to continue to speak the truth. I got a love for my people, and I'm going to bring y'all the real. And I hope all my real ones, continue to do their part and hold it down for me and help me get this information out there and stomp out all the lies and meet them head on.
So until next time, this is Dr. Ephraim signing off, saying Shalom, elect.